Well, happy Monday to you and happy Labor Day. We have made it to our Labor Day, and fortunately things are still quiet in Southeast Texas. Nothing threatening from the tropics, at least. We do have some spotty showers and storms, but nothing tropical related. But I do want to show you where we could have some issues out there brewing in the tropics, of course, as we get closer and closer to the peak of our hurricane season for this year. And of course, that peak right around September 10th. I want to start off by showing you the extremely warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Check out these water temperatures well into the 80s, even a 90-degree reading there southeast of New Orleans. And many other buoys out there showing readings close to 90 degrees. So we certainly have plenty of fuel out there for any systems that could get into the Gulf of Mexico over the next few weeks. We hope that doesn't happen, but we just want to show you kind of the setup there. Nothing that is getting close to developing in the Gulf right now, but we do have very warm water. If something were to develop, it likely would pop up and develop quickly. Down into the Caribbean, things are pretty quiet right now. Just a few clusters of showers and storms here and there, but nothing that we're expecting to blow up or blossom into a big tropical cyclone. So that is certainly some good news. Let's head out to the Atlantic, and we are in the central and eastern Atlantic here, and we've got a couple of disturbances that do make us kind of concerned at this point, still several days out. But we have a very strong tropical wave here in Invest 95L now with a higher 90 to 100% shot for development into a tropical depression, tropical storm, or hurricane over the next 2 to 7 days. So that one likely will become a named storm. Also, we've got potential tropical cyclone here. We've got a strong tropical wave coming off of the west coast of Africa, and that one has a medium shot for development. So we do have some things that we are watching. Before I talk more about those tropical waves, I do want to let you know what's going on with Gert and with Katia. We do have the remnants of Gert in the central Atlantic, starting to get close to the north central Atlantic, but as of that latest advisory, Gert is pretty much gone. It continues to push to the north. It is no longer a tropical system, and we're just calling it the remnants of Gert, and over the next 24 to 36 hours it should dissipate or fall apart completely. So that is not going to have any impact to the U.S. It's going to fall apart out across the central Atlantic. We also have post-tropical cyclone Katia. Now this is a new development. As of that last advisory, Katia has lost all tropical characteristics off in the east central Atlantic as it slowly drifts to the north, so it should completely fall apart as well over the next day or two. So we're not expecting any major impacts from Gert or Katia, but we do have some other systems out there that I just briefly mentioned, at least a couple of those I briefly mentioned, and I do want to go over those again and tell you about what's left of Franklin. We now have the remnants of Franklin. This is way up in the northern Atlantic, and it now has a low 20% chance that it could redevelop over the next 7 days, but it is far away from the U.S. and I don't expect any impacts from that one. The one most concerning would be Invest 95L, now with that 90% chance for development over the next 7 days and a 100% likely shot for development into a tropical system over the next 7 days. You can see Invest 95L with that red X is that disturbance there. It's going to drift to the west-northwest around 15 to 20 miles per hour, and it likely will push just to the north of Puerto Rico, just to the north of the Lesser Antilles, and it could get pretty close to the Bahamas, and it could make it all the way to the east coast of the U.S. as we go over the next several days. So that's why we're concerned about that one, and I'll have more on the track of that one in a minute. But I first want to talk about our other tropical wave coming off of the west coast of Africa. This is a potential tropical cyclone, and it's not expected to do much of anything over the next 2 days, but it has a 50% chance for development over the next week. As it comes off of the west coast of Africa, is already looking fairly organized and impressive. It's drifting to the west-northwest as well, around 15 miles per hour. We've got several days to watch it, but it does appear that that one has a decent chance for development as well. So you can see that potential tropical cyclone coming off the west coast of Africa there, already blowing up with a lot of convection, a lot of showers and storms. Still no well-defined area of low pressure or center of circulation just yet, but we're going to have to watch that one closely. Now here is Invest 95L off to the west of the tropical wave coming off of the coast of Africa. So I want to show you the spaghetti model plots or spaghetti model forecast for Invest 95L, and you can see that just about all of these models take it off to the west-northwest and close to the Lesser Antilles and close to Puerto Rico, likely staying just to the north of the Lesser Antilles and also just north of Puerto Rico. But a few of these models take it very close to Puerto Rico and then pretty close to the Bahamas. So I'm going to go a little bit more to the north and west. There's Miami over there. There's San Juan, Puerto Rico, Guadalupe. You can see most of these models taking it fairly close to some of those Caribbean islands and eventually, potentially, the Bahamas and possibly maybe the east coast of Florida or up towards Georgia or the Carolinas. Of course, they were hit just last week, so we certainly don't need another landfalling tropical system. So hopefully this one will skirt away from the U.S. and away from those Caribbean islands, but it's definitely going to have to be watched closely because it is certainly going to get very close to Puerto Rico, as I mentioned, and if it drifted a little bit farther south, it could make it into a portion of the Caribbean and maybe even the Gulf. But right now, just about all of these models are keeping it out of the Caribbean and taking it off into the east coast of the U.S. instead of towards the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, but right now it looks like we're probably out of the woods, but we'll have to watch the east coast of the U.S. closely. It certainly has really picked up during this last month or so for our 2023 hurricane season. We've had several named systems out there. Of course, we started off with Arlene, Brett, and Cindy, but lately, we've had Harold, Idalia, Jose, and now Katia. So a lot of things going on out there. And with Invest 95L at a 90 to 100% chance of developing into a tropical system, we likely will have Lee in the next 24 to 48 hours. So we're going to have to monitor things closely. We've already gone through several names this season, and we will likely get through quite a few more with the extremely warm waters out there and with conditions becoming more favorable for these tropical cyclones to develop. Of course, looking back at the last update from the Colorado State University forecasters all the way back on August 3rd, about a month ago, of course, they did come out with that above normal hurricane season, 18 named storms. Of course, including the ones we've already had, 9 hurricanes and 4 major hurricanes. And that, of course, is above normal for our hurricane season. Normally we would have about 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, 3 major hurricanes, and that average season being taken from 1991 to 2020. So things likely will end up above normal, and we are extremely close to that peak of hurricane season, almost about a week away. Of course, peak of hurricane season right around September 10th, and we are getting closer and closer to that. Even after we pass that peak, it's still likely going to be fairly active through the remainder of September and likely through the first part of October. We'll have to wait and see if any of those systems get close to the Caribbean or the Gulf to impact us. We have been fortunate so far. No systems have headed our way. Even when we did have the systems in the Gulf, they kind of turned and went the other way, and they did not come to Southeast Texas. But of course, we know things can change quickly. Systems can pop up and move our way, so we need to be prepared at all times. Make sure to grab our Fox 26 weather app if you haven't already. You can get all of the latest tropical weather updates, our forecast cones, our Follow Me feature, hurricane watches, warnings, any other alerts tropical related, and of course your local weather forecast, which today finally includes some heavy downpours in a few spots, a few showers and storms, and of course we've got the heat, but at least we are getting a little bit of rain relief. So that is all I have for you for today's tropical update. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day.